Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back in as we get ready for another night of amazing racing action. Here with the Hypershift NASCAR Cup Series, the Hypershift Racing League, back in action here this afternoon as we get ready to go to battle for the Juicy Spydr 200 live from Homestead-Miami Speedway as drivers out there on the racetrack. They are still getting their times in. They're getting their last couple moments here of this practice session before we get right into the action here with a little bit of qualifying and then our feature event here this evening. As drivers just getting done, the lights are on, the track is looking beautiful. These drivers, they've been working, they've been running a lot of laps trying to figure out their fuel strategy, their tire strategy, where they need to run or where they need to kind of be to keep their tires underneath of them for a longer period of time out there on the speedway. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be able to not only run a fast time and be able to keep that consistency throughout the race, but also save those tires and have that consistency lap after lap after lap. As Bryce Dickinson, Brycey Bear coming in and with the resubscribe as well. Brycey Bear coming in with that resubscribe, becoming a supporter once again here on PeaceMaker Gaming over on Facebook. As Tony J. Ludi coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast. How are you, Tony? 213 Simware also coming in, showing the big love here in this one. Shout out there to one of our absolutely amazing sponsors here on the series, the 213 Simware, coming in and showing the love here in this one. As Tony not only coming in with that like, as Simware also coming in with that share as well. Hypershift Racing League coming in with that heart reaction and the share on the broadcast as well, as we get ready to go to battle here. So it went from night to daytime as we're going to get ready to qualify here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. So that's going to be a little bit of a tricky outcome here for a lot of these drivers. So now that we went from nighttime to daytime, we're going to get completely different, air temperature. It's going to give us a completely different track temperature where that's going to change a lot of things up. The tire wear is going to be a lot more. We're going to see a lot more slipping and sliding where drivers are going to be harder and harder on the tires and on their equipment. So it's going to be a little bit wild to see what these guys are going to be able to do now that things have been changed. They were just practicing. They had all that practice under the, the moonlight sky, but now they're under the sunlight, and things are 100% different. Now, I do have the camera turned off tonight as well. I'm still getting over this flu or virus or whatever it was that I got. My buddy that lives below me, hanging out with him for not very long, but his kid got something and she gave it to him, and then he gave it to me, and now we're all sick, and I've been pretty much dead for the last 4 days or so. This is the first day that I've felt good and comfortable enough to be out of the bed for more than a couple hours. Other than that, I was not leaving the bed for the last 2 or 3 days. I got up, I did our broadcast on Monday night. Luckily enough, we didn't have anything planned for Tuesday or Wednesday, and man, I needed them. I didn't leave that bed for very long. The only time I left it was to use the bathroom, and that was about it, and I was curled up in a ball. So bear with us here if you do hear me periodically go mute or anything else. I'm probably going through a lot of coughing and everything else, so bear with us on that one. As we do see this 28 ride lay down a quick lap time, jumps to the top of the speed chart. So Timothy Watson now quickest out there on the racetrack. We do see the 85 ride, he's up there into fourth. Dalton Wicker, he's now into position number 2. Jack Simpson into that third spot there in the PRS number 24 ride. We'll see Michael Sheffield out there, the Duluth Trading number 1 ride, currently 8th on the speedway. In 11th is that Prime Gaming number 18, a Michael Carter. Brian Fine out there as well in the Logan Strong number 57 ride as he rolls out there on the speedway. Here comes that Adidas, beautiful looking car here, the Adidas 95 ride, down through the grass, gonna hop, skip, and jump through there and head down pit road. Currently 17th fastest is Robert Tester in the Hunt Brothers Pizza Pennzoil Ford out there on that racetrack as he's got that Joey Logano paint scheme once again hooked up here this afternoon, currently inside the top 10, looking for a little extra speed here, maybe see if he can get a better lap time on lap number 2, is down across the line. I don't think he finds any extra speed right there. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. No, unfortunately, no extra speed there for Mr. Testers. Ryan Chronister. Chronister's now into position number 12. A good lap right there for the Xfinity Mobile 19 ride. As hopefully that car is as fast as Xfinity. As we see the 96 Aaron Spear currently 23rd. Corey Denk out there in the Tiny Toes. Number 17 is Denk up into 16th here. He just jumped up a bunch of spots right there in that second lap, able to gain at least an extra 10 positions, so a great run right there for him as he was looking to start back towards the rear end of this field where we got 32, 33 drivers loaded into the sim, each and every one of them looking for the win here this evening as John D says, let's go Tiny Toes, boys. Let's go. The Tiny Toes rides are definitely looking good, looking fierce out there on the Speedway, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what they're going to be able to do. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what a lot of these guys are able to do here throughout the afternoon and see who can pick up the checkered flag here this evening. This should be a pretty good time, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth, a lot of good fighting up and throughout the field. And as we see some of these longer green flag runs, that's where we're really going to see the strategy start to come into play. The tire wear really starting to take shape, and what's going to really keep drivers on their tippy toes is the time changes. Okay, so qualifying was during the daytime, practice was at night, qualifying during the day, and now we're back to night for the race. Okay, well, it's keeping us on our toes here as well up in the broadcast booth, so we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to go here for our main feature event as Joey Johnson says, let's go Johnson, cheering on Johnson out there on the racetrack as Kevin Healy says, how about that new paint scheme on the number 7? Yeah, the number 7 looked really, really nice. I saw it out there in practice for Chase Abel, and that thing's looking actually really minty fresh, man. That thing is looking sharp. I wish we could get a better angle down on pit road, but yeah, that thing is looking very, very cool, man. That is looking like a very nice looking ride. Very patriotic, very, I want to give it like almost Captain America kind of vibe look to it as we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up, we'll get ready to rock and roll. Here is the 28 rider, Timothy Watson. He was quickest there in qualifying, and he will start in that pole position to his outside in the Tiny Toes. 77 ride, it's Dalton Wicker. Wicker will start in position number 2. Starting in position number 3 in the Premier Racing Setups, number 24 ride, that is Jack Simpson to his outside. His teammate in that 36 ride is the Tom's number 36 machine, will start there in 4th. That's Gage Wenzel there in that 4th spot. The 85 of Joshua Siegfried there in position number 5. To his outside is the 8 ride, the DHL machine of Kent Mueller. Starting in position number 7 is the 94 of Adam Belton. To his outside, that is the 57 of Adam Fine. Then we see the 25, the Traveler's Whiskey Machine. That is the 25 of Owen Lax. To his outside, that's the Joey Logano paint schemed ride. That is Robert Tester. Then we see the 1, that is Michael Sheffield. Ryan Chronister to his outside. Chase Abel there in that 7 machine was Zach Wilson. To his outside in the 51. Then we see Michael Carter, Corey Denk back there in 16th, Scott Shive, Drew King, Al Likens, Anthony Ludi, Daryl Johnson, Max Cost, Aaron Spear, Jonathan Cogswell, Michael York, Tyler Chronister, Dylan Pickles Simmer, Jaden Newsome, Christopher James, Tommy Pulte, James Hudson, Gavin Grubbs, and Chris Zofeld bringing up the rear of the field. That is our 33-car field here this afternoon, is out in front, leading us on the first lap here this afternoon. Quickest in qualifying, and already showing a very quick car here in the opening lap as the 28 ride of Timothy Watson will lead lap number 1 here from the beautiful Homestead-Miami Speedway. Dalton Wicker right there behind him with, here comes Jack Simpson and Gage Wenzel right there, as well as Robert Tester already up a few spots as he's trying to work that 22 ride up to the front of the field. We did see unfortunate break there for the 94 ride out of corner number 4 last time, got down onto the apron. He ended up losing about 5-6 positions. Now back in that 13th position for the Amazon Prime number 94 ride. So he'll look to try to rebound there in that 94, try to get that car hooked up and back towards the front as here comes Corey Denk. Denk is now up into position number 11 here. He's just on the outside of the top 10 looking in as you do see the 85 ride. Some drivers already struggling a little bit out there on the racetrack, trying to hang on to these race cars. Some of them getting a little bit loose, washing down to the apron. Luckily enough, no heavy contact, no one going around as of yet, but anything can happen in a heartbeat out there on the speedway as Watson continues to lead the way. Timothy out in front by about half a second now between himself and that 77 ride of Dalton Wicker as here comes Kent Mueller. Mueller making a big move from the high side down to the bottom side. He's looking to take that second spot away from the 77, and he will make that pass work. Now he's going to slide up to the outside fence here. Here comes Gage Wenzel. Wenzel is going to look to take advantage of him as now he's going to make a move. Now here comes the 77 once again. They're looking to go 3 wide early on in the race down into corner number 1. Luckily enough, Dalton Wicker thinks better of it, and Wicker decides to kind of roll into the throttle right there, not take him 3 wide, as he does know that his teammates starting to come here as well. Up into position number 9 here for Corey. Corey now into the 9th position. He's continuing to try to keep on working his way up and through the field. Now, the big thing is going to be if you push too hard, too early in the race, it could put you into a tough position. If we see this go a long green flag run, you're too hard on those tires, you burn them up a little too quick out there on the speedway, you could become a sitting duck later in the run. So you'll want to kind of be a little cautious. You want to be fast, but you want to save those tires as much as possible here, especially early on in the race, as you do see Timothy continuing to lead the way here. Kent Mueller was able to snag that second spot back away from Gage Wenzel as Wenzel sits in position number 3. Wicker back there in 4th with Jack Simpson in that 5th position. Joshua Siegfried there in position number 6 with Robert Tester, Brian Fine, Adam Boughton, and Corey Denk now rounding out our top 10 on the speedway. Owen Lax back there in 11th, that beautiful number 25 ride. Now we did see that car be the 40 machine here this last weekend in the Daytona 500, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. ride that was, powered by Dale Earnhardt Jr. and everything else in the Hendrick Motors. And the 25, well, technically the 40 ride ran by Justin Allgaier, had a great run up inside the top 10 and everything else there in its first race there in the Cup Series. So huge congratulations there to Allgaier and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on getting that Traveler's Whiskey number 40 ride up and in to the top 10 there. But here tonight, it's sporting the 25 of Owen Lax here this evening. And right now, Lax looking to try to work himself back inside the top 10 as he rolls back in that 11th position. We do see Michael Sheffield right there in the 19 ride. Ryan Chronister. Chronister trying to keep himself right there in that fight towards the top 10 here, as you also see the 51 of Zach Wilson. He started in that 14th spot, still sitting in that 14th position as we see Al Likens. Likens in the UniFirst number 9 ride. That's a beautiful looking paint scheme here. Chase Elliott paint scheme there for that 9 machine here once again. And Al sits back in that 15th position. Right behind him, the Podium Esports number 81 ride. Scott Shive rolls there in 17th with Michael Carter down to his inside. Carter is looking to take that spot away from him and move back in to the 16th position here as Chase Abel not too far behind these guys. There's that Nobel American the Noble American number 7 machine. And that's a beautiful name for that car right there. The Noble American, especially for Chase Abel, as Abel is running a beautiful paint scheme out there, and so far having a great race. Unfortunately, early on, down a few spots, but looking to try to gain him back here as he continues the battle here. A great fight here, 2, 3 cars all right over top of each other. We can throw a blanket on them. You look back through the field, everybody is right there on top of each other. One mistake, one slip up, you can be passed by a handful or a couple handfuls of drivers in a instant out there. So you want to be very, very careful. You want to make sure you take care of your, your vehicles and everything else. You see this prime number 5 ride out there as well. That is Michael York. Beautiful looking prime machine out there on the Speedway, rolling towards the front of the field. Here comes Christopher James as well as Dylan Picklesimmer there in that number 35 ride as the RaceEPI.com number 35 machine rolls there in position number 25 on the Speedway. Gavin Grubbs in the 12 there as well as Jaden Newsom. Newsom in the Canadian Racing. We love to see it. The Canadian Racing number 40 ride rolls back here in 27 with Tyler Chronister, Max Cost, Chris Zofeld, Drew King back there in 31st with James Hudson and Tommy Pulte in the 26. Unfortunately, back in that 33rd spot on the racetrack as of right now, as we do get a new race leader as the 28 ride's falling back a little bit. We got a battle at the front of the field. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Gage Wenzel and Kent Mueller putting on a battle as they are both able to get around Timothy Watson. Watson trying to hang in there, trying to keep up with those two now, trying to stay in that battle for the top spot, but Wenzel's been able to take it away. Mueller was just right there trying to take it from that 36 ride, but Gage able to hold him off, now able to open up a little bit of a gap here. But you see the different lines and the different runs that drivers are able to get here around Homestead-Miami Speedway, between using that extreme high side or using the bottom here. You can get tons of different momentum or different entry points, braking points out there on the racetrack, and some different areas are going to burn up tires a lot more than others, as we do see a caution flag fly. So our first yellow flag of the day. So our first caution flag of the day here in this one, as man, oh man, oh man, this is going to be a lot of fun. Woo, baby, this is gonna be interesting. That's for certain, chat. This is gonna be a little bit wild. This is gonna get a little bit fun in a quick hurry here with getting everyone back together. But now it's strategy time. What do? You come down pit side. Do you use up a set of tires already? Let's take a look back here and see if we can figure out. Look like the 35 ride, I do believe. Ended up running into some problems here. Dylan Picklesimmer going to run into some problems right there. Him and the 5 ride get tied together. You'll see the 81 already running into problems right there as well. That's Scott Shive there in the 81 ride. Shive in the 7. Make a little contact right here. I think that kind of gets the guys behind him a little bent out of shape as 81 gets loose. The 7 still coming on the throttle. They make contact, really no fault of either of their own, just a little loose right there. Luckily enough, they're both able to keep their cars out of too much trouble, but back behind them, that's where you see the issues grow for the number 35 right here, as him and the 5, they're tight together, but I don't know, one of them gets loose. Looks like the 5's kind of coming up. The 35 maybe trying to come down ever so slightly. Nonetheless, they just kind of run out of room, and you see that 35 just go around right there. I do believe he gets a little piece of that inside fence right there. Not too much damage for him, but hopefully he'll be able to get that car fixed back up and back out there onto the racetrack. There you see him go around again. That's where we see that caution flag fly. So a tough break there for the 35 and a tough bit of contact for a few of those other drivers, but it looks like a lot of cosmetic damage that they should be able to get repaired and back out there onto the Speedway, as we'll get these drivers ready to go back to battle. We'll get ready to do this all over again. We did see about 10 drivers come down pit road right there. We saw basically from this 23rd position, Josh Siegfried, he came down pit road. Same with Corey Denk. Dalton Wicker also came down pit road. We saw Chris Zofeld, Michael York, Christopher James, Scott Shive, Gavin Grubbs, Drew King, Dylan himself there, Mr. Pickle Simmer there coming down pit road, and the 26 of Tommy Pulte also coming down pit side right there. So 10 of our 33 drivers head down pit road here. Everyone else staying out there. They're going to try to use this as a little bit of strategy, potentially saving those tires from, using them up a little too early here, potentially. Trying to keep them back there in their back pocket for later in this race, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, as Joseph Brosif says, DJ gonna get another win this week. Let's hope, baby. DJ looking for another dub, potentially. Frank Ryan says, let's pick it up, number 7. Let's go, baby. As Kennard Vertick. Yeah, that's a T, not an L. Vertick. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Kennard Vertick says, go Kent, number 8. Cheered on Mr. Mueller out there on the speedways. Right now, Kent rolls in position number 2. He was battling there before that caution flag with our race leader. Gage Wenzel is down through the Geico restart zone. We do go back to green flag racing, and not the restart that Kent Mueller was hoping for right there. Got caught sleeping a little bit there on the restart, a little flat-footed, and quickly sliding back a handful of positions, and some contact down low beneath him here. Everyone trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction, as they are 2, 3, 4 wide back here behind our race leaders. Everyone trying to work themselves through the traffic. Look out, the 94 right of Boughton and Jack Simpson almost coming together there, almost making some damage and some carnage down through corner 3 and 4. But look at these drivers spreading out, everyone trying to race their way towards the front of the field. And here you go, you start to see some of these drivers with those fresh tires. Oh, look out, contact, heavy damage for Anthony Ludy up into the outside fence. Oh no, lot of cars tore up right here. The 63 of Max Cost collecting, the 99 of Tyler Chronister right there in that as well. No, oh no, there was a caution flag. So caution flag is back out here. Luckily enough, we do see that caution flag fly. Let's see if we get a look at it here, as we got that right there. As oh man, that's just a tough break. Looked like the 99 was already struggling here just through the middle of the corner. Loses the rear end, washes down the racetrack. The 77 coming with a big head of steam. He was one of those drivers with those fresh tires. Makes that contact with him, sends him up the racetrack. Nowhere to go for Anthony Ludy. Nowhere to go for the 36 ride as they get up into the outside fence. Man, heavy damage for all 3 of those drivers. The 5 ride going to get in there as well. Heavy front end damage there for that 5 machine as well. Michael York is... Man, this was not a fun ride for Anthony Ludy. A lot of drivers, luckily enough, just narrowly avoiding getting tied up in this. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Anthony, as you see Mr. Abel right there in front of him. That 7 ride, narrowly going to avoid this one. Then 99 gets loose, washes down the racetrack, makes contact with the 77, and then, bam. That's all she wrote for Mr. Ludy. Wowzers, that is a heavy hit. No luck at all there for that number 95 ride. Man, that's just such a heavy hit right there. Nothing you can do. You can't plan for that, man. And that's racing, unfortunately. That is racing. Let's see if we can jump on board with the 99 ride of Mr. Chronister. Actually, let's get another angle of this one. Let's see if we can jump onto the chase camera here. Take a look at it, even the far chase, and just watch the rear end here, right there. Just kind of steps out, car shoots down the racetrack, and that's how she all gets started. And for about 4 or 5 drivers, heavy damage. Some of them may be catastrophic damage that may end up taking them out of this race. As Kevin says, you got that right, Frank. You got that right, Frank. Yes, Sirski, as Old Monkey says, let's go 7. Cheering on that 7 ride out there, as well as right now Chase Abel looking very good out there on the Speedway. Was luckily enough to just narrowly avoid contact there during that last wreck, and luckily enough for the 7 ride, the noble American machine able to keep on rocking and rolling out there on the racetrack. No damage, no worries here, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here this afternoon as Gage Wenzel and now the 28, our pole sitter Timothy Watson, will get lined up on the front row. Right there behind him you do see Kent Mueller and Brian Fine with Zach Wilson and Jack Simpson there in row number 3. It's Robert Tester and Adam Belton there in row number 4 with Al Likens and Owen Lax rounding out our 5th row on the restart here in our top 10 is Michael Sheffield, Michael Carter, Daryl Johnson, Ryan Chronister, and Aaron Spear round out our top 15. That's where we see Chase Abel, Jaden Newsom, Corey Denk, Joshua Siegfried, and Chris Zofeld rounding out our top 20 here on the Speedway as we'll get ready to go back to battle here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you're just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today as we get ready to go back to battle. Cheer on your favorite drivers in the comment section right now as down through the Geico restart zone. Gage Wenzel with another good restart quickly pulls up in front of the 28 ride, trying to take and dump a lot of that dirty air onto the front of the nose of that 28 ride, trying to keep that little bit of a gap between himself and the 28 machine on the Speedway. As they battle down the back straightaway, once again, you're going to see these drivers go 2, 3, 4 wide out there on the Speedway. Some absolutely amazing racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, one of those racetracks that we come to and we always see this 2, 3, 4 wide, even sometimes 5 wide racing out here on the racetrack. A lot of room to navigate, but really a couple preferred lines. It's up against that fence or right down against that white line on the inside, but we'll see throughout the evening those lines kind of change, and drivers with the handling of their cars or their tires want to continue to change different routes that they're going to take, whether it's entry to exit or, exit, just trying to get different areas. They may enter low, exit high, or, enter high, exit low, trying to roll some different lines out there, try to diamond the racetrack, doing whatever they can to not only help the balance out on their race cars, but also try to keep those tires underneath of them and keep those tires good and fine out there on the Speedway. As right now we've had about, I'm going to say about half the field has already been down pit side at least once this afternoon, where we still got about half the field that is yet to come down pit road, including our top 16. Our top 16 is yet to come down pit side. One other driver that's outside our top 16, Jaden Newsom, also yet to come down pit road as of yet as well. So there's a lot of drivers with some fresh tires out there on the racetrack, and drivers on those older tires just trying to use it to their benefit late in this race. Maybe having that extra set behind pit wall late in this race, throwing those on could be a major factor in whether or not you can pick up this win here this evening. As Gage Wenzel leading the way here, but right there behind him, Timothy Watson putting the pressure onto his back bumper as here comes Brian Fine up inside the top 3 now in that number 57 machine as he rolls there in that 3rd spot. We see Zach Wilson now into 4th here with Kent Mueller there in 5th. The Traveler's Whiskey number 25 of Owen Lax rolls there in 6th with Al Likens. Man, that car just matches this racetrack so well, like the teal paint scheme with the teal walls around Homestead-Miami Speedway is just oh so fitting. And right now, Al is putting this 9 ride to work here. He's up 13 spots, started all the way back in 20th, now up into 7th, and he's looking to continue his march towards the front of the field as Jack Simpson sliding backwards here in this race. He's down 5 spots and now sits in that 8th position, but has Belton and Tester right there behind him, rounding out our top 10 with Michael Carter, Here comes Michael Sheffield, Aaron Spear, Ryan Chronister, our top 14. As here comes Dylan Simmer. Pickle Simmer here was actually one of the drivers that brought out the first caution flag of the day here this evening. And for the 35 ride, being that first caution flag, he was able to get those fresh tires, get the repairs that he needed, and he's right back into the thick of things here as he's back into that 15th position and just keeping on rocking and rolling towards the front of the field here and trying to rebound from that contact earlier where we saw him go for a couple loop-de-loops, and here he is inside the top 15. Daryl Johnson right there behind him in that number 4 ride. The Bush machine sits there in position number 16 with Christopher James back there in 17th. Corey Dankin, Chase Abel right there, as well as the 77 of Dalton Wicker as the Tiny Toes rides right now, rounding out our top 20 on the Speedway. Here comes Joshua Siegfried as well, Jonathan Cogswell, Scott Shive, Gavin Grubbs right there, that beautiful number 2 ride back there, as well as we do see Drew King, James Hudson there in that beautiful number 2, the Miller Light ride. Things looking fresh out there on the Speedway as well, man. That thing is looking very good out there on the racetrack as Hudson rolls there in the 26th spot. Jaden Newsom actually sliding backwards from that restart as the Canadian Racing 40 ride back in 27th with Chris Sofeld back there in 28th. Tommy Pulte having some connection issues there a little bit for the 26 ride, but he rolls back in 30th with Michael York. Tommy's in 29th. Michael York is in the 30th position there in that Prime Energy number 5 ride with Tyler Chronister still with that heavy damage on the front end of that 99 machine. He's just rolling out there in that Walmart ride, currently scored in 31st as Anthony Ludi still down pit side. Heavy damage there to the Adidas ride, trying to get that thing repaired, trying to get that back out and onto the racetrack, as definitely a heavy hit there for him. And same with Max Cost as well. I do believe Max has taken his car down behind pit wall and off the racetrack, and his night may be over. As out in front, Gage Wenzel still looking to try to keep this race lead, but getting hassled right now. That 51 ride, the TechWorks machine of Zach Wilson trying to take over the top spot here this afternoon. Owen Lax right there, as well as Brian Fine underneath the 28 ride as Timothy Watson sliding backwards here ever so slightly. Al Likens just on the outside of the top 5 looking in here as he's got the DHL machine of Kenton Mueller all over his back bumper here, trying to push that Uni First ride towards the front of the field. As Boughton, Simpson, and Carter rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack, as we're going to see these drivers continue to battle door to door, lap after lap out there on the Speedway. And now it's going to come down to potential green flag pit stops. Some of these drivers that haven't been down pit road yet this afternoon, but maybe we're expecting to see, more consistent caution flags now getting into another longer green flag run. That could put them into a huge disadvantage here on the evening, with drivers that have already came down pit road on lap number 16 or some that were down pit road on lap number 20. These drivers that are up towards the front of the field, they haven't come down pit road yet, so they got 36. Oh, heavy hit right there for the 51 ride. I don't know if he just blew a tire or what might have just happened. Heavy right front damage here for that 51 of Mr. Wilson. Unfortunately for Zach Wilson, that may be all she wrote for his afternoon. We saw Jonathan Cogswell run into problems here, but watch this 51 down low. This looks like he gets loose right here, tries to correct it. It just overcorrects, snap hooks up into the outside fence, and oh man, that is a heavy hit right there for the TechWorks ride. And take a look at that right front tire after he gets out of the outside fence. That right front is just absolutely pointed in the wrong direction here, not spinning as quickly as all the other ones. It's telling me that the hub and everything else in that right front is not rotating. It's seized up and everything else, or it's disconnected, and Man, that's going to be a lot of work. That's a lot of repair down pit side for the 51 ride here to get this thing back together. But we also saw a couple other drivers run into problems here as well as that caution flag is coming out. The 84 ride of Jonathan Cogswell also having a problem here. Cogswell and the 81 down the back straightaway, they get together, and Cogswell ends up into the inside fence down the back stretch and right down onto the pit lane as well, part of that caution flag. So a tough break for the 44 Farms ride, as I'm not sure if they just run out of room here down the back straightaway, but him and Scott Shive unfortunately just gonna make some contact here and get together. Luckily, yeah, looks like the 84 kind of coming down, the 81 kind of coming up. They just get tied together. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage there for the 81 ride. Pretty good hit there for the 84, but doesn't look like too much damage done to that car. We'll have to wait and see if things still pointing in the right direction. Doesn't look like it's cramped walking, so it doesn't look like any broken toe links or anything else here for the 84. So a good break there on that end, and doesn't look like too much damage. But you do see this 51 down pit road, and you can see that right front completely tore to shreds. And unfortunately, you see the camber completely knocked out of it. That whole right front is basically going to be rebuilt and reattached here to that 51 ride, and that may have him down pit road for a very extended time here this afternoon. We'll see the 99 ride back down pit road. He's looking to get more repairs done to his car as Tyler Chronister trying to get that thing leased back into halfway decent conditions. Anthony Ludy still down pit road. Obviously heavy damage from early in the race for this number 95 ride, and man, some tough hits out there, some tough licks, and now we do see a lot of these drivers. They did come down pit road here, as right now the driver with the newest tires that's close to the front of the field is this 25, the Traveler's Whiskey number 25 ride of Owen Lax. Lax sits there in position number 3, as we do see the 84 ride of Jonathan Cogswell, even after going around there, did not come down pit road. And Kent Mueller did not come down pit side either. So Mueller going on a very bold strategy. He's the only driver in the entire field that is yet to come down pit road. Some drivers have been down pit road multiple times now, whether or not it was getting tires or just getting fuel. As you do see the 84 did not fire right there. Cogswell, not the restart that he was hoping for. That's really going to bunch up that inside groove, as you see the 25 trying to get around him here. Everyone trying to spread out and find a lane down into corner number 1 and out of 2 here. Is out in front, Kent Mueller going to continue to lead this race. Mueller out in front. A very bold strategy, not coming down pit side when everybody else did. We'll have to wait and see how this strategy is going to work out for him. Some of them may want to, just try to save as much tires or as much fuel as possible, but you got to imagine that the fuel's starting to run a lot lighter for this 8 ride, and if we see a decently long green flag run, he may have to come down pit road during green flag conditions, and that is not a spot you want to be in. But if he can get a quick caution flag here over the next 3, 4, 5 laps or so, potentially it could really help, trying to leapfrog some things, give him the fresher tires out there on the racetrack. But right now you do see that 36 of Gage Wenzel able to jump up, take that race lead back away from him here, as Wenzel back out in front, but battling door to door with Kent Mueller, as Mueller doing a great job hanging on to that 8 ride all afternoon. Timothy Watson right there as well, now into that 3rd position, as Cogswell able to stay there in position number 4. Here comes Brian Fine, Adam Belton, Robert Tester, Michael Carter, Dylan Picklesimmer, one of the drivers collected in that first caution flag, up into the 9th spot, with Al Likens back there rounding out our top 10, as Gage Wenzel leading the way here in this one, as Frank Ryan says, let's find that grip number 7. Come on, he says, as Kevin Healy says, put some new tires on that noble American racing machine. Yes, Sirski, we'll have to wait and see what he can do out there on the Speedway, as that 7 of Chase Abel currently scored back in the 24th position. But look at the traffic around him here. He's got a lot of traffic, a lot of cars that he's got to try to figure out how to get around here. This is a scary sight, man. When you see these guys 3, potentially 4 wide, up and through the corners, they're rubbing and scrubbing. You got drivers driving deep down low underneath of you, or bombing up on the top shelf, going around you on the outside. You kind of get stuck in the middle, and sometimes stuff like that just happens right in front of you. No caution flag. Oh, man, that's a tough break right here. Daryl Johnson collected in this one. Johnson in there. We did see another driver as well, as Johnson's going to get rolling here on the racetrack. I do believe it was the 96 ride of Aaron Spear also collected here in this one. As drivers down the back straightaway make contact. Unfortunately, they both wash down the racetrack here and off the racing surface onto the apron. I'm not sure if the 85 comes down. That's Siegfried. Sure if he comes down or the 96 comes up, but they make contact, and in that same area we see the 4 ride also getting collected in this one. I want to slow that down, but let's get another angle at this and take a look at it, as these guys just end up making some pretty decent contact here. Johnson's probably going to get a great angle at this one, as down low you see the 96 get a little loose right there. He's able to save it though. Yeah, it looks like the 96 was just expecting the 85 to go up towards the outside fence. They don't. They make contact, gets the 96 bent out of shape. He goes around. The 85 goes up the racetrack into the 4. Oh, man. Johnson does save it. He keeps it from going around right there, but unfortunately, that second little love tap gets him down into the inside fence. Luckily enough, he just love taps that inside wall. No heavy damage, and he's able to keep on rocking and rolling, but he does lose a ton of track position out there on the Speedway. Now scored back in the 28th position. Still in the lead lap, though, as of right now, is Tyler Chronister. He's out there on the racetrack, scored in 29th. We see Aaron Spear. He took his 96 down pit side, and he's still down pit road getting that car repaired. Alrighty, he's out in front. Gage Wenzel. Wenzel continuing to lead the way here in this one. I do apologize again, ladies and gentlemen, if you end up hearing me coughing, or you get a blank time there where I all of a sudden go mute. It's normally because I'm coughing. I'm just getting over a virus or the flu or something. Still definitely sore throat, coughing, stuff like that. So slowly but surely getting over the virus that I've had for the last 4 days or so, and it was a struggle there for the last couple days. Luckily enough, today was a lot better, trending in the right direction, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day or sometime over the weekend I can get back to 100% and not have to worry about being sick for the next while. That's why we don't have the camera turned on. I don't want to have to mute myself, but also turn the camera off. I don't want you guys to watch me, have a heart attack up here, coughing my lungs out or anything. But do bear with us on that one. So as Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way, it's Adam Boughton. Boughton now into position number 2. A great run so far for that 94 ride, as Brian Fine sits there in that 3rd position. Watson slides back to 4th as Michael Carter, the Amazon Prime, the Prime Gaming number 18 machine. He's now up inside the top 5 here, so a great run so far for that 213 Simware number 18 ride, as Robert Tester back there behind him. Dylan Picklesimmer back there as well. He's back in that 7th spot on the racetrack with the 22 of Robert Tester right down to his inside. You see Al Likens right there as well, trying to join that battle as he looks to try to race his way back up inside the top 5. Jack Simpson there in the 9th position, with Corey Denk up into position number 10 on the racetrack. Denk up into that 10th spot in the Tiny Toes, number 17. A great run here today. A couple times we've seen him drive up inside the top 10, gave it up for tires or fuel, just that track position that he gave up. A couple times we've seen him race up there and gain those spots back, but it's been a little bit of a back and forth day here for Corey, and seeing with his teammate a few spots behind him here, that 77 of Dalton Wicker, as Wicker rolls there in position number 13, as we do see a couple drivers head down pit side right here. No. Yeah, we do see a driver head down pit road, and this is worst case scenario for Kent Mueller. All the Mueller fans up in the chat. This is the strategy that we were talking about. Everyone else came down pit road virtually on lap number 37. This 8 ride had yet to come down pit road, so he was 37 lap older tires, 37 laps less of fuel than everyone else out there on the racetrack. He'd already lost a lot of positions, and for the DHL Express ride, trying to get down onto pit road during green flag conditions, it's slippery down there, and unfortunately lose that rear end, sliding sideways here down into the pits, and unfortunately as he's and sideways, he comes to a stop. Now he's got to get this car turned back around. He's trying to get this thing pointed in the right direction, not trying to hit the walls here and create damage for himself, and unfortunately ends up having to do about a 5-point turn right there. And for the DHL number 8 ride, that is a lot of time and track time to have to give up down throughout the green flag pit stops here, and unfortunately for him, he's going to have to wait, I would approximately say, 20, 30 laps until we start to see more of these drivers head down pit side. But that mistake, spinning out down on pit road, is already putting him a lap down, and right there behind him, that's our race leader, Gage Wenzel. And Wenzel potentially trying to put this number 8 ride another lap down out there on the racetrack, as well as Kent actually maybe even more than just 1 lap down. He may be 2 laps already, potentially going 3, as there we go, that 36 down low, looking to make the move around the 8 ride, and that could trap him here with quite a few drivers no longer on the lead lap. A lot of drivers that are already a lap down out there on the racetrack. It could trap him as a lap down. We did see Al Likens run into problems here as well. Likens, heavy damage here in the unit first, number 9 ride. We've seen Al battle his way up inside the top 5, top 10 here for a lot of this race. And for that beautiful unit first number 9 machine, Al Likens ends up running into a problem here as well. Let's take a look back and see what happens. His contact here in front of him, and oh man, he has to get checked up. Oh no, down into the inside fence as well. A double whammy right there for the 9 ride. This is a heartbreaker here for Al Likens, as Likens just trying to mind his P's and Q's here, and all of a sudden right in front of him, the 22 of Tester comes up the 35 ride right there, trying to stay out of them. They start to make a little contact. They're bouncing off each other. Al's coming with a big head of steam. Now he's trying to decide where he wants to go. He has to slam onto the brakes to avoid running too hard into the back end of the 22. It locks up that right front, shoots him down or into the outside fence, bouncing off the outside wall, washes him right down the racetrack and hard into the inside fence as well. Man, that is definitely not a spot you want to be for Al Likens, battling inside the top 10 here. Let's see if we can jump on board with this number 9 ride, see what he can see from the cockpit. Tough break. Couple heavy hits right there for Al Likens, and now behind the 8 ball, definitely struggling out there on the racetrack. heavy damage on the left front and right front, just hoping for a caution flag to try to keep his dreams alive this afternoon, as Gage Wenzel continuing to lead the way here in this one. The 36 ride hooked up this afternoon. He's out to about a 2-second lead now. He's really stretched that advantage between himself and the rest of the field, over 2 seconds between himself and Adam Boughton. Is Boughton about to lose that second spot, as here comes Brian Fine working down to his inside, as here comes another one of those Amazon rides. Michael Carter right there as well, maybe going to try to help out his teammate, the other Amazon machine, as they both look to try to join the top three here. But Brian Fine and the Logan Strong number 57 ride right there trying to work his way into position number 2, but as they continue to battle, they continue to lose more and more time to that 36 ride, as we continue to click these laps off in a quick hurry here, ladies and gentlemen. We get closer and closer to that checkered flag, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit that like button on the broadcast. It doesn't cost you a penny. It helps us out a ton. Every single like, comment, share on the stream helps push it out to so many more people. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys just drop a couple comments, hit that like button, hit that share button if you're feeling courteous, and make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family today, so that way you never miss the racing action here on PeaceMaker Gaming. And some great racing, as you do see that 18 ride of Michael Carter able to clear the 57 of Brian Fine. So Boughton will hold on to second. His teammate Carter now into position number 3, as they're dealing with a little bit of lap traffic right there. That's going to bring Carter right to the back bumper of that 94 ride. The 99 will move down and out of the way. That's Tyler Cronister gonna nicely move down out of their way, and now you see the 9 ride right there as well. So obviously Al Likens, who was one of those drivers that was up here battling inside the top 5, now all of a sudden he's on the outside of the top 25 and heavily damaged, and now at least a lap down, potentially going to go even more laps down if he doesn't get a chance to come down pit road here in a quick hurry, as Gage Wenzel continuing to lead the way and show these drivers how to get it done. Lead is now grown to about 3.5 seconds. So 3.5 seconds separating first and second here on the racetrack. It's a heck of a gap right now, and it's continuing to grow. And for Gage Wenzel, he's loving every single second of it as you watch him down across the start-finish line. Let's take a look here. We'll tell you right there across the line, there's the other drivers. They're not even at the Geico restart zone, so about half a straightaway or more advantage for Gage Wenzel, and continue to grow that lead. So Gage really starting to set himself up for what could be a big win this afternoon for that 36 ride, as everyone else in the field trying to chase him down, trying to hunt him down, trying to figure out a way to beat that 36 here this afternoon, as we'll get ready here in just a little bit for potential green flag pit stops for a lot of the field here, as we roll closer and closer to our halfway marker here in this race, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. As we do hit that halfway point here this afternoon, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a quick PeaceMaker Gaming crank it up. So we're going to crank up that volume. You guys are going to cheer on your favorite driver as we crank it up here this afternoon. As wonder who painted it, Daddy. I don't know. I'm gonna guess the NJB Designs crew painted this ride. As we hit halfway, we're gonna jump into our PeaceMaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite driver here with the Hypershift Racing League and the Juicy Spydr 200. as some green flag pit stops have come underway here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We knew it wouldn't be long, as during our crank it up session right there, we did see a couple handfuls of drivers head down pit side. We do see a few more head down pit road. There's Ryan Chronister, Christopher James in the 88, also down pit road. Now James gets in there, a weird angle, unfortunately a little too close to the pit wall right there. Had to back this car up and get it squared up in there so the crew can go to work and service all four corners of that 88 rod. Unfortunately, that's going to lose him a couple seconds, and during green flag conditions, that's definitely not what you want to see, as Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way. Wenzel out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Wenzel has been a man on a mission here all afternoon, and as of right now, has about an 8.7-second lead between himself and Timothy Watson. That is a pretty massive lead here between our top two drivers here. 8 seconds, almost 9 seconds between first and second on the racetrack. And unfortunately for a lot of drivers, you know, they got a lot of ground, a lot of time to make up. And now different pit strategies here, where we saw some of those drivers come down pit road on lap 72, lap 74, 75, 76, they've been kind of bouncing around here. Even lap 79 for Ryan Chronister there in the 19 rod. We see some drivers coming down on lap number 80, as NJB Design says, do you know what else is massive? What's massive, brother? What else is massive, my boy? As Emma says, the 36 is tearing everyone up. He is definitely setting the tone here this afternoon, man. That 36 ride is definitely showing the field how to get around Homestead-Miami Speedway here this evening, as this car has absolutely been on fire for a lot of this race. Obviously qualified pretty good up inside the top 5 right out of the get-go, is showing speed, looking for the race lead and taking it for a little bit, leading some laps early in the race, and then during this final run has just been absolutely lights out. I don't know if they made some changes down on pit road to this 36 ride or what they may have found, but they found something that's just working perfectly for that 36. And unfortunately, he did run into a little connection issue right there, so that's a tough break for the 36 ride. Hopefully that doesn't continue. He's got about 8.6 seconds between himself and Timothy Watson. Watson now going to head for pit lane here himself. Here comes that 28, the Helvely machine down pit road. Brian Fine will now move up into position number 2. Gavin Grubbs yet to come down pit road as well. He's currently sitting in 3rd. Scott Shive yet to come down pit lane here. Shive will now jump inside the top 4, and Michael Carter, who is he's got the newest tires out there inside our top 5 now, as he's going to go around the front straightaway here. He'll leapfrog the 28 of Timothy Watson. He was down pit road on lap number 75, and he will now be scored in that 5th position. He's about 39 seconds behind our race leader now. He should be laying down quite a bit faster lap time than our race leader, and he's running about a second quicker than what Gage Wenzel is right now. So Gage is giving up quite a bit of time here to those fresher tires, but the more laps that he runs is the more that their tires are wearing out. As here you go, here comes our race leader, Gage Wenzel down pit road. We'll see Brian Fine making his pit stop. Scott Shive also down pit road, so Shive going down pit side, as Gage Wenzel, our race leader with that massive lead, able to jump out in front and open up that lead. Now going to try to use it to his advantage here during green flag pit stops. Doesn't make a mistake getting into his box. That's what you're looking for. You want to make that clean pit entry. No speeding, no secondary pass-through penalties or holds down here on pit lane. And for our race leader, a quick pit stop back onto the throttle, rolls right back out onto the racetrack, and quickly building up that speed, going through the gears, trying to get that 24-30 motorsports ride hooked back up and roll into the front of the field, as he's trying to keep that Tom's machine out in front and leading this race. Is right now he's going to roll back out in position number 4, as we do see Gavin Grubbs Was out front for a little bit there, but now down pit side here himself. He's going to get that Duracell Menards number 12 ride rolling here once again as Michael Carter will take over the race lead here. So Michael Carter, who was down pit road on lap number 75, now scored as the race leader. About 3 seconds behind him is Corey Denk. Denk in that Tiny Toes number 17 ride rolls there in position number 2. And Gage Wenzel, who was our race leader, who had that massive lead, obviously staying out for a lot of laps extra here. 11 laps longer than the 18 rider, our current race leader, so he's going to have a lot fresher tires here. 11 lap fresher tires than the 75, and then the 18, the 17, a lot fresher tires than pretty much anyone else inside our top 10. One of the only other drivers, a couple of the only other drivers that were down pit road in the 80s here was Timothy Watson, Brian Fine. They're scored back in 11th and 12th on the racetrack. They were down pit road on lap 84, 85. Look at Gavin Grubbs. He scored now back in the 15th position. Down pit road on lap 87. Drew King down pit road on lap number 80. He scored back in 17th. So a lot of these different pit strategies for these drivers and everything else for the afternoon. And now comes the big question on whether or not these drivers can make it to the end of the race. Was that potentially Gage Wenzel's final pit stop? Do you think he can make it to the end here? I don't know. What did they just run? They came down pit road on lap number 37, came back down around lap 86. So about, what is that, 50 laps? Something like that? 50 lap difference right there in fuel. He's got to make it to lap 134 from 186. It's what, 14 laps? 34, that's about 48. Yeah, he may be able to make it on fuel. So binding a caution flag, if this stays clean and green, not only does he have some of the freshest tires out there on the racetrack, already able to make the move around Corey here for position number 2, so the 36 back up into second, but he may potentially be able to make it to the end of this race without having to come back down pit road. An additional trip here in this feature event where Michael Carter probably not going to be able to make it here. He's going to have to probably come back down pit road around lap 125. He's about 9-10 laps shy of the checkered flag here, so he's going to probably have to come back down pit road here this evening. So that's going to be absolutely massive here for a lot of these drivers. That's going to make things very, very interesting here, seeing, whether or not the fuel strategy or anything else will end up working for these drivers, if it'll play out for them, if it'll help them or not pick up enough positions late in this race. There's a lot of drivers that pitted, in those, 70 lap area. There was a lot that stayed out in the 80s there. But man, it's going to get very, very close. And if you're on the throttle too much, if you're spinning the tires too much, one bad lap, or if you're not saving a little bit here or there, potentially, you could, run out on the final lap or the closing laps and be stuck in the same situation as everybody else. Or maybe you can make it all the way and leapfrog, 10, 15, 20 drivers that were down pit road, which might have been a little too early here this afternoon as Carter continues to lead the way here. Michael Carter, he's out in front, 2.7 seconds between himself and Gage Wenzel, as Wenzel back there in position number 2 trying to track him down, but I don't think Wenzel's really pushing the subject right now. I don't think he's really pushing this car too hard out there on the racetrack. I know he wants to jump back out in front, lead more laps, show these drivers how to get it done, but I think in the back of his mind, he knows that he wants to save that little bit of fuel, save that little bit of tire if there was a late race caution flag. Even though he may be able to make it on fuel, he also wants to make sure that, he's got a little something left in the tank where he doesn't have to be forced to come down pit road, maybe try to keep that pit strategy or the track position to stay out in front, hoping that a lot of cars behind him also stay out on the racetrack as well, where there may be the gamble from some competitors to come down late in the race to get those tires and fuel. he may not want to, or maybe he only has to do a two-tire pit stop or something to just quickly get him down pit road and back out there. So many different strategy calls here at a racetrack like Homestead-Miami Speedway that just keeps all these drivers on the edge of their seat, really on their tippy toes here. Not only just deal with the track conditions and the tire fall off and the tire wear and how slippery this racetrack can feel out there on the speedway, but having to keep that mental calculator continuously going, you know, through the numbers and everything else lap after lap to see how much you saved and how much you need to continue to save, or you know, any of those any of those numbers or theories, or you know, thinking about when you have to come down pit road, or if you get a caution flag, how much fuel can you save under the yellow, and if you can still make it without having to come down pit side again. It's a lot of work, and it's a very, very stressful job, especially when you're still rolling out there on the racetrack at, 150, 160 miles an hour average around the racetrack. It's not a lot of time to, you know, make up these decisions and keep that calculator going in the back of your mind here, as we do see Michael Carter continue to lead the way, but that lead is evaporating here. 1.5 seconds, and quickly Gage Wenzel catching up to his back bumper here, trying to take that race lead back away. He's able to open up that gap about 3 seconds between himself and Corey Denk. Is Denk able to hold on to that third spot on the racetrack there for the Tiny Toes ride, and his teammate in the other Tiny Toes machine, the 77 adult in Wicker, also there inside the top 5, scored in that 4th position. Jack Simpson there in 5th, so the Premier Racing Setups number 24 ride inside the top 5 with Dylan Picklesimmer there in position number 6. Robert Tester there in 7th with Adam Boughton, Timothy Watson, Brian Fine, our top 10 on the Speedway with Owen Lax and Gavin Grubbs. They're in 12th. Grubbs right now is currently our hard charger on the afternoon, up 21 positions, scored in that 12th position. Now, he was one of the final drivers there during that green flag pit stop cycle to come down pit road, as now you do see some drivers starting to head down pit lane. Here comes Corey Denk. Is Denk coming down pit road here? Obviously knows that he's in that fuel saving area, but knowing that he's not going to make it, he comes down pit road a little earlier. He knows that he's in the clear now. He can go the rest of the way without having to worry too much about coming down pit road. And, man, that's going to be interesting call to see if anyone else decides to go with him here, trying to split that final run up. Get those extra tires, see if they can use them to their advantage, knowing that potentially Gage Wenzel and some of these other drivers are not going to come back down pit road throughout this race. That getting that extra set early on could help propel them to run obviously faster lap times, but maybe keep pace, gain positions and everything else, and maybe still be a threat in this race. Or if Gage has to come down pit road, or any of the other drivers that stretched out the fuel there late in that run potentially have to come down pit road as well, that they could be right there ready to strike. As you do see that 36 of Gage Wenzel able to jump up and take that race lead back away. So Wenzel back to the front of the field here as Michael Carter slides back into position number 2. So the 11 lap difference in tire wear finally catching up for the number 36 ride, as Gage Wenzel will take that race lead back away. Now he looks to try to open up that massive 8-9 second lead that he had over the rest of the field there before that pit cycle got underway. So Wenzel now just trying to keep his mind focused, hit his marks, not push the car too hard, not burn up the equipment, but just hope to not see a caution flag. I think that's really what's going through the mind right now of that 36 ride. No caution flag. This one may be in the bag for him here this afternoon. The next driver that might be able to make it on fuel that's behind him is Timothy Watson, who scored in position number 20, or in position number 7. Ryan Fine back in position number 8. Both of those drivers were down pit road on lap 84 and 85. They're both 11 seconds behind our race leader. And, man, that's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to play out. We also see Adam Boughton now head down pit road. So Boughton taking that same little bit of a strategy there as what we saw with Corey Denk coming down a little bit earlier, trying to use those tires up sooner rather than later here in this potential final run. As you do see Daryl Johnson down pit road as well. He'll take that advantage. Here comes Michael Carter. Now he's down pit road. He knows he's got to do something. Same with Dylan Picklesimmer. Here comes Owen Lax as well in the 25. That Traveler's Whiskey number 25 right down pit road. So the fuel strategy, the tire strategy, and the pit strategy all together continues to just keep on unfolding. It's a multiverse of strategies out there on the racetrack here at Homestead-Miami Speedway with the Hypershift Racing League in the Juicy Spydr 200. Live from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go, man. It is that 36th ride of Gage Wenzel as he continues to lead the way. And as we saw a few of those drivers head down pit lane, Jack Simpson now finds himself in position number 2. So teammates now in first and second on the racetrack. A couple of the 24-30 rides here at the front of the field. You see the DHL machine, who was a great competitor early in this race. Kent Mueller unfortunately ran into some issues himself with that pit strategy, spun out coming down pit road, and unfortunately for the DHL machine, still trying to play catch up from that mistake early in this race. But see how it plays out for him as well, as Gage Wenzel leads the way here. Brian Fine now up into third. Timothy Watson back there in position number 4. I do believe Watson maybe having to save just a little bit extra right now, knowing that he's right around that lap 50 mark, or 50 laps for him to make it clean and green in this race. And I believe it's going to be about 48, 49 laps for fuel, but you can probably save a lap or two out there on the racetrack by just rolling out of the throttle, letting the car cruise through the middle and just trying to rotate the corner better on the bottom side. I think that's what the 28 ride's trying to do right now, is just save that extra little bit to make sure he can get to the end here. Now finding a caution flag to really mess up everybody's idea of how this race is going to end, or how the strategy will play out this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun, chat. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know how it's going to play out. If we see a caution flag right now, we got a lot of drivers that are currently a lap down, including the 18 rider, Michael Carter. Carter is in the free pass position, but he's also the first car one lap down in the 14th spot. Joshua Siegfried, Michael Sheffield, all these drivers, Corey Denk, Tommy Pulte, Dylan Picklesimmer, Dalton Wicker, Owen Lax, all these drivers are now a lap or multiple laps down here on the racetrack, and late race caution flag may not help them at all. They may not be able to get that lap back, or even if they do get the wave around or take the free pass or anything else, they're going to have a lot worse tires late in this race, and could make the decision a lot easier for this 36 ride to potentially come down pit road, get an extra set of fresh tires onto this 36 ride, and just blow the doors off of everybody late in this race, as he's been doing that all afternoon. Now out to a 9-second lead between himself and Jack Simpson. Brian Fine 12 seconds back there in third. A little bit farther back you see Timothy Watson. Rounding out our top 5 is the 22 of Robert Tester, as Tester in that Hunt Brothers Pizza number 22 ride. The Joey Logano paint scheme machine sits there in position number 5. The 12, the Menards ride, that is the Ryan Blaney paint scheme machine out there on the speedway. Gavin Grubbs, who's currently our hard charger out on the racetrack as well, up 27 positions. Start at the back of the pack, start at the rear of the field in the 33rd spot. It was the last driver lined up here on the front straightaway to take that green flag, and here he is up in that 6th position. He's been playing that strategy pretty well, and right now it may pay off perfectly for him. Without a caution flag, it may fall right into his lap for a solid top 5 run here this evening, as we do see Jack Simpson make his way down pit road. Now we did see Jack, he was down pit road around lap number 78 or so, now having to use this pit stop. He knows that he's going to fall short on fuel. He's got to come in, get those tires, get that fuel, get that car rolling back out there onto the racetrack. There's only about 20 laps left in this race, and we inch closer and closer to the checkered flag. And Gage Wenzel continues to open up that lead. Right now, it's 12 seconds between himself and Brian Fine. You see Fine just coming out at corner number 4. Well, Gage Wenzel, he's working his way down through 1 and 2, about half a track in front of that number 57 ride. So that's how big of a lead Gage Wenzel has right now, and how much he does not want to see a caution flag out there on the racetrack. A caution flag would evaporate that race lead and bring all these drivers right back to his bumper, and he definitely does not want to see that. He just wants to see this go clean and green, cruise control to the checkered flag here. I think Brian Fine may be perfectly fine with a top 2 run here this afternoon. I'm sure Timothy Watson probably wouldn't be too upset with a 3rd place run. Gavin Grubbs up 29 positions. I'm sure he'll be fine with a top 4 performance here this evening as well, and maybe late in this race able to gain a little extra time here, maybe catch up to that 28 of Timothy Watson or Brian Fine, who are just a little bit farther in front of him here. Robert Tester, who unfortunately was last down pit road on lap 75, going to be a little bit short on fuel. Same with Jonathan Cogswell. They're still going to have to try to find their way down pit side. James Hudson might be able to make it maybe a few laps shy here, making it to the end without having to come back down pit lane. Scott Shive looks like he'll probably be able to make it here. If he saves just a little bit, he should be able to make it to the end without having to come back down pit road. And right now you do see our race leader working himself to the back bumper of this 81 ride, and you do see James Hudson and Scott Shive both potentially going to go a lap down right here. So even though these guys are trying to save and they're trying to keep on rolling out there on the racetrack and gain positions, they just got passed by our race leader. That was our 7th and 8th place drivers, now down a lap as well on the racetrack, and that now moves Scott into our free pass position, moving Michael Carter out of the free pass spot. Now, he was the car that was in 2nd spot, and there's the caution flag that nobody really wanted to see. Oh, no. Gage Wenzel did not want to see that one. 12.5-second lead between himself and Brian Fine. And that caution flag coming out. Luckily enough, everyone else, I think, has used that extra set of tires down pit road. If they pit here, anyone that's outside the top 8, top 7, is going to stay trapped the lap down. They can take the free pass if they stay out there, but they'll be on older tires and be at a disadvantage. If they pit, they'll stay a lap down. For Scott Shive, he'll get the free pass. He's got that lucky dog out there, so he's going to be able to make a pit stop as well, get that free pass back onto the lead lap. So for Gage Wenzel, Brian Fine, Timothy Watson, they got that extra set of tires still back there behind pit wall. Same with Gavin Grubbs, Robert Tester, Jonathan Cogswell. They still have that extra set of tires behind pit wall, and they also only have 6 drivers on the lead lap right now. Shive will have to take basically an EOL. He'll start at the back of the pack here, other than the drivers that take the wave around. But everyone that took the wave around is going to be on a lot older tires probably than these other drivers. You do see easy call right here. Here comes that 36 Gage coming right down pit road. Unfortunately, James Hudson also coming down pit lane, not thinking twice about it, and that will keep him a lap down out there, as we do see Fine coming down. Here comes Timothy Watson, Gavin Grubbs, Robert Tester, Jonathan Cogswell, all headed down pit road. Scott Shive, he's going to get that free pass. The lucky dog back onto the lead lap, and Michael Carter and all the crew back here behind him looking for that wave around, looking to get back onto the lead lap here. So for Carter, Corey Denk, the 35 ride of Dylan Picklesimmer, Dalton Wicker, Jack Simpson, Joshua Siegfried, Owen Lax, Adam Boughton, Ryan Chronister, Drew King. All these drivers bound to get that free pass and back onto the lead lap here this afternoon, as the 36 will be the first driver out of the pits, and he rolls back out with a
new game plan in his mind. He's just got to run it as hard as possible over the next, 10, 13, 14 laps of this race and put himself into victory lane. He's going to have a tight battle, though. I mean, Brian Fine's going to be right there. Timothy Watson's a very fast car. That 22 of Robert Tester. It'd be fun to see what Gavin Grubbs can do, or Jonathan Cogswell up there as well, and see if any of these drivers that were, going to take that waiver round, what they're going to be able to do here as well. Is there you go. The lights are off the official iRacing pace car, so we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As you do see these drivers, they're going to get that waiver round. So there goes Michael Carter. There goes Corey Denk. There goes Dylan Pickle Simmer. All these drivers taking the waiver round, getting the lap back here on the Speedway. Great break for them. A very good break for them, but unfortunately for those drivers, even though they're back on the lead lap, a lot of them are still multiple laps worse tires. You look at Michael Carter, he's about 15 laps worse off on the tire. Some of these drivers 20 laps worse. Some of them, 15, 10 or so laps shy of what our race leader is. So it could just be a 5-6 horse race out here on the racetrack as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as woo, baby, this is going to be fun. Here we go. Gage Wenzel, Brian Fine, Timothy Watson, 1, 2, and 3 on the Speedway with Robert Tester, Gavin Grubbs, Jonathan Cogswell. Our top 6. Then we see a bunch of these lap-down drivers back here behind them. And then we see contact and carnage unfold here. As we go back to Green Flag Racing, we see Jack Simpson turned around. We see a few other drivers tied up in this one as well. And another caution flag here. And now that's definitely not what we wanted to see, especially as our race leader did not want to see that one. We're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. They're just going to get stacked up right here. And as they kind of get stacked up, drivers just kind of get clicked through gears, and like potentially the 88 moves to the outside, maybe gets a little piece of the 7 right at Abel, but then loses the rear end here. 24 right Jack Simpson, he still doesn't know what's going on here as Abel unfortunately gets clobbered right there down into the 8 right of Mueller. You see the 7 down into the inside fence. You're going to see Kent Mueller try to slide through there. The 24 of Jack Simpson, he gets turned around. He gets a piece of Mueller as well. Everyone else just trying to find a way through all this carnage down on the front straightaway. Now, I don't know how this all got started. I think it was with Anthony Ludi down on the inside lane here. I think is what really messed things up for Corey Denk. I don't think Denk realizes right here they were kind of not even really, they were tight here. And the 95 was just down on the apron. I think he's still heavily damaged from early in this race, just letting all these guys go by. And then I'm not sure what happens to the 17, but right here, just throws in parachute out and just really slow. And I'm not sure if iRacing was telling him not to pass the 95 or whatnot, but nonetheless, just stacks things up. Everyone just, again, squirrely trying to find lanes where they can go because they weren't sure what was happening, and calamity. So another caution flag, and man, that's going to make things even more interesting here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as that's going to give drivers that were just a lap down now the opportunity to come down pit lane, like Michael Carter and Owen Lax, Corey himself here, Dalton Wicker, and Adam Boughton, Drew King, all these drivers a chance and opportunity to get some repairs and some fresh tires onto their cars now. And now it's a lot more than a 5 or 6 car race here at the front of the field. It's going to make this even more fun here at the front of the pack, as we're going to get all these drivers lined back up, stacked back up, and ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. But it's all about track position this late in the game. 10 laps left to go. When we go back to Green Flag Racing, going to be about 8 laps left. So it's going to be very, very interesting here in this one, as we'll get a quick commercial break in here. But don't go anywhere, as our closing lap's going to come right at you in a quick hurry.
As here you go, ladies and gentlemen. What could be our final restart of the afternoon is down through the Geico restart zone. One of the most dominant cars of the afternoon, that 36 ride of Gage Wenzel, leads us back to the green flag. Gets a great launch and another good restart here, trying to keep that 28 ride back there at bay. But Timothy Watson has shown a lot of speed during these short runs, and you can see him already trying to put that to work. But we see more contact and carnage back here behind him, and the caution flag will fly once again. So another caution flag deeper in the field. This time looked like Al Likens tied up in this one. A bunch of other drivers back here as well. Unfortunately going to get tore up here as watch the one ride. Oh man. Yeah, so watch that one, a Michael Sheffield here. Sheffield very loose through the center of the corner here. The rear end just going to step out on him. Washes down the racetrack. Overcorrects it. Washes back up the speedway. Over the nose of the 9 ride. T-bones the side of the 26 of Pulte right there. Pulte gets hard up into Tyler Chronister as see the 9 ride goes around nowhere to go for the 88 machine as he pile drives in there. That's Christopher James with quite a bit of damage. The 34 ride nowhere to go, as well as Drew King gets a big piece of that one, not only once but twice. He slams into the 88 ride as well there, and pretty good contact for a lot of those drivers down and out of quarter number 2. So a bunch of quick caution flags all of a sudden really making this race that much more interesting, and really going to make things interesting if we end up going to NASCAR overtime and any of these drivers that may still be trying to stretch it on fuel or anything else, or have that extra set of tires back there behind pit wall. Well, what you may be able to do is, man, there was a lot of drivers that just got tore up right there. Chris Zofeld, another one of those drivers that got a pretty good licking right there as well. Let's take a look back at Zofeld as we do see the 99 ride go upside down here. So Tyler Chronister's day has went from worse to even worse here late in this race as he's just minding his own P's and Q's up on the high side, and all of a sudden things just get wild. He gets turned there on the front stretch hard into the inside wall, goes upside down, and man, that's a heavy hit right there. A couple heavy hits for the 99 ride. We'll take a look back and see what happens to the 11 here as well of Zofeld. As Zofeld, he's trying to get his way through this. I'm not sure if he gets clipped right here. Looks like he may get clipped by one of these drivers. See the 99 shoot down there. The 26. Oh, just the rear end kicks out and around. Hits the front end of that 11 ride. He's able to save it right there, but 26, unfortunately, Pulte gets into him again, shoves him down the racetrack hard into that inside fence. So a lot more carnage, a lot more tore-up race cars here in this one. So we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up, we'll get ready to try it all over again here in this one. As, bro, 2 caution flags in a row. Crazy, not gonna lie. Bro, what the heck? Laugh out loud. Next Gen Racing is the best. Yeah, Next Gen is sometimes the most wild racing there is on iRacing, that is for certain. And yeah, 2 caution, technically 3 caution flags right in a row, and that's kind of a consistent running when it comes to these next gen rides and late in these races here on iRacing. Once these late race caution flags, it either goes clean and green right to the end, or you start to see these late race caution flags and you see an abundance of them, man. Drivers just they get a little too antsy, you know, they get a little too much ants in their pants. They try to push in, you know, open lanes that aren't really there, or push the subject, push their cars to the limits or just past it, and they're sliding around and losing control of their cars and bouncing off of each other, and that's where we see a lot of them run into problems, and that's where a lot of the caution flags keep popping back up as we go back to green flag racing down through the Geico restart zone. Another good launch right there for the 36 ride. 28 sticking right with them, trying to stay on the back bumper of Gage Wenzel here once again. Brian Fine there
there, as well as that 22 of Robert Tester. Tester trying to hold on to position number 4, but trying to work his way inside the top 3 here on the season. Same with Gavin Grubbs, as Grubbs trying to hold on to a solid top 5 run after starting at the rear of the field here this afternoon. As it's mayhem, craziness back here behind these drivers. They're 3, 4, 5 wide still. Lots of rubbing and tugging out there on the racetrack in more contact. I'm pretty sure we just saw the 81 rider Scott Shive go around. He's on the apron though. No caution flag as of now. He's able to keep that car rolling, and unfortunately for the 81 machine, no caution flag, but he's going to try to spin this car around and up into the outside fence, hoping to get that yellow flag. No luck as of yet, and for the Podium 81 machine, definitely not the way he wanted things to go here in this one, as he's going to take that car down onto the apron, and he's just going to try to cruise control this thing back down pit road. And that may be all she wrote for Scott here this afternoon, as Gage Wenzel out in front. Wenzel continuing to lead the way. Brian Fine looking to try to take over position number 2, as he still sees them 2, 3, 4 wide out there. Another driver hard into the outside fence. Oh, brother, I do believe that was the 84, Ryan. No, it wasn't. It was the 35 of Dylan Picklesimmer, who clobbered the outside fence there, coming out of corner number 2. And you can see that heavy right front damage. Luckily enough, that car is able to still turn in the corner, and it'll keep on driving here, but does lose a couple spots. Slides back now into the 8th position, as you do see Gavin Grubbs starting to slide backwards as well, as moving up through the field. Here comes Dalton Wicker. Wicker making a late race charge here. He's got newer tires on that number 77 ride. He wants to race his way to the front of the field, now looking for position number 4 over Brian Fine there, rubbing and scrubbing. Look at the 25 doing the Ross Chastain up against the outside fence, looking for a big run at it. Oh, and oh, maybe more contact. Look out, there goes Gavin Grubbs. Caution flag, checkered flag out on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. Checkered flag out. This is how quickly things happen here. So the checkered flag coming out here in this one. Gage Wenzel able to pick up the win. There was so much going on. We almost forgot about what lap we were on. As here we go, taking the white flag, the 36 Ryan. Just keeping these guys back there at bay. He's been just picture perfect here throughout the afternoon. Timothy Watson trying to give him a run for his money here, trying to get that thing wound up on the outside lane. But man, that 36 just so strong, able to pull even using the bottom lane here, able to open up a gap, and the 28 knows he's really just got nothing for him here down through 3 and 4, looking for another big run, but Gage just nice and easy down through corner 3 and 4, and there he is down across the line, picks up that checkered flag, and a big dub there for Gage Wenzel as he picks up the win this afternoon. Timothy Watson in position number 2, and it's Robert Tester who comes home in 3rd, and then they were wrecking back here behind them as things were getting absolutely crazy back here, man. They were 3, 4, 5 wide. You saw the 25 right up against the fence here, trying to do his best. Ross Chastain trying to use that outside momentum the best he can. The Traveler's Whiskey ride traveling to the highest point on the racetrack and looking for that big run, and then you saw Fine in that 77 having a great battle here. They were door to door down through 3 and 4, and they were not backing off of each other here on the final lap, and you can see the contact a little bit there and a little bit more. They're not backing off each other, and then out of corner number 4 they make more contact. The 77 loses it, goes around right there, and man, everyone just kind of gets tore up right there at the end of the race. But for Wicker, he does come home in 6th. His teammate in the tiny toes, number 17, Corey, comes home in 8th. But it's all Gage Wenzel as he picks up the checkered flag here in this one, man. What a run and what a drive for that 36 run, as he's already pulled that ride up and into victory lane here as the Juicy Spydr 200 winner this evening will get ready to pull Gage Wenzel up and in to the broadcast booth here this afternoon, man. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be fun to see. If this is gonna be interesting. What Gage Wenzel's got to say about how this race went. Obviously, having a great run, having a great race, and being able to put himself into such a good position throughout this race. Pretty solidly easy day up until those late race caution flags for the 36. And we'll get ready to pull him up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interviews here in just a couple seconds from now. As quickly read a couple of these as Stephanie Hunt says, congratulations, Gage. A way to put that Tom's Tasty Tater Machine in victory lane. Linda O'Keefe says, way to go, Gage. Cheered on Gage as well. As Max Koss says, I have so many last place finishes in next gens and leagues. Laugh out loud. Brother, I think that deserves a trophy on its own, my boy. I think that may deserve a trophy on its own. As NJB Design says, hell yeah, cheered on that 36, a Gage Wenzel, who picks up the dub here in this one, and we'll get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey Gage, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, you got me.
Gage, man, what a run, what a drive, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a ton of different strategy, a lot of different pit calls here on the afternoon, and then late in this race, a abundance of late race caution flags. A lot of fast cars right on your back bumper, keeping you on your tippy toes late in this one as you were on cruise control there for a little while. Had to get you a little nervous here late in the race.
Yeah, I was really mad when there's a yellow, but it is what it is. You can't help it. But it's still like I had an 11-second gap, so I was just kind of cruising, praying there wasn't a yellow, and then the yellow came out, and then the chaos started.
Yeah, as that chaos is unfolding, and you know that 28 run, you saw him throughout the early portion of this race, showed a lot of great speed, you know, for the short runs out there early in the race that we were seeing there with a couple early caution flags. Was that getting you a little bit nervous knowing that Timothy potentially had the better car on the short run than you?
Oh yeah, Tim was really fast in the short run. I mean, I couldn't beat him in practice. In terms of practice speed, I messed both my qualifying laps up because I wasn't used to the daytime. He was just better all race. And man, I don't know, but long run we were just perfect. I mean, the car felt good the entire run. I barely had any moments where it stepped out. But yeah, he was hounding me, and when that yellow came out before he was in my inside, I was scared. I was like, he's gonna take this lead, and one of the yellows blessed me, thankfully. But like with 3 to go, entering 3, my screen went black, and my screen turned off, and I just kind of got really lucky that I had done the same line the last 100 and something laps, and I just don't know how he didn't pass me. I was freaking out.
Yeah, so somehow or another you're able to keep it still pointed in the right direction and keep on rolling and put yourself up into the Homestead-Miami Speedway victory lane. Gage, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this afternoon?
Yeah, I got to thank all the sponsors, Tom's Tasty Taters. You got to thank all my teammates, 213 Simware, another sponsor, Premier Setups. I worked a lot this week to get good here, and a lot of practice showed off. Our team was fast all around, and that's good for my points and the team points. So thanks for everyone that watches me and supports me. It's a blessing to be here, and thank you for being in the booth.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Gage, another great run, another solid performance for you, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Thursday, and potentially right back up here into the broadcast booth and back into victory lane here on our Thursday night series with the Hypershift Racing League.
Oh yes, I love Atlanta. But you have a great night.
Absolutely, you as well, brother, and we look forward to seeing you out there at Atlanta next Thursday.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our race winner, Gage Wenzel. It's Wenzel picks up the dub and pulls the 36 up and into victory lane as we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, the 28 rider, Timothy Watson. As Watson coming home there in that second spot. Let's pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Timmy, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Timmy, man, what a run, what a drive here for you. He had some good lucks there through, and some good looks underneath and around that 36 run of Gage Wenzel with those late race caution flags, but you just couldn't quite find the run you needed to make it count when it mattered the most here as you settle in for a second place run. But take us back through this race. What's going through your mind right now after qualifying on the pole, then being right there at the end and almost putting yourself into victory lane?
Yeah, Gage was just way better than me on the long run. I didn't practice that too much, but we had great short run speed. I could get around on the bottom really well, and then right there at the end, Gage and I were so close on the bottom. I just had to try and do something, but the top wasn't there, so I couldn't quite get him.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta run where they don't, and unfortunately, he kind of took that lane that you really wanted away from you, and being, only so many laps left in the race, obviously with the back-to-back-to-back caution flags late in this one, it made your time and your ability to really build up that speed and momentum or find the lane that you really needed out there on the racetrack, that much more impossible to really get the runs late in this race to battle with Gage out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, and I think if that second to last caution, if we'd have went green on that restart, I think I'd have had him. I was to his door, and if I would have had the bottom going into 3 there, and I'd have had the fresh air to. I think I could have got him there, but the caution flag came out, and that really stopped me.
Unfortunate and untimely caution flag there for you, and definitely, I'm sure Gage was cursing a lot of those caution flags as well, especially the one where he was out in front by about 11 seconds. Obviously, having that long run speed and using the pitch strategy perfectly there. We didn't really talk too much to Gage about the pitch strategy, but we saw you guys, around lap 84, 85. He came down on lap 86, where everyone else was coming down in the 70 lap area getting fuel, and I was thinking, I don't know how far these guys can make it, but when we saw you guys come down pit road, 10, 12 laps later than those guys, it really opened the door that you guys can make it 50 laps on fuel, and that you guys can make it till the end without having to come back down pit road, where they all had to make another pit stop, and that really gave you guys the driver's seat here late in the race, and you held on to it. As you look at the top 5 out there on the racetrack, for all 5 drivers that were on that same pitch strategy out there on the Speedway.
Yeah, I noticed, about 30 laps after, maybe not that long, but a little bit after that first pit stop we made that, I might could make it in one more stop. So I just started letting off at the flag stand and pushing the clutch in and letting it roll as far as it would. And that gave me, the 10 or so laps that I needed there at the end to make it on one more stop. So.
Absolutely. Well, it almost worked out perfectly for you guys, whether or not there was those caution flags late in the race or not. But, man, it was a great race and some great battles out there, man. Take us kind of back through, some of the events throughout the afternoon, kind of what's going through your mind after a lot of the 2-wide, 3-wide, 4-wide racing around you here throughout the.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but we the bottom was getting really loose up off the corner, and guys started running the top and getting huge runs off. So that was one thing that you really had to watch out for, was a guy getting a good run off the corner. And if you're down there on the bottom, you're going to get loose up the track. So that was really important to make sure you didn't wreck anybody doing that or throw a bad block. But yeah, it was a long race for sure. I was happy with third for the longest time, kind of wishing that caution didn't come out, but now I'm glad it did, because I had a shot at the win and finished second.
Absolutely. It all worked out in the end for you. But, man, Timmy, a great run, a great drive here this afternoon. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance out there on the racetrack?
Really, my teammates. I mean, they helped a lot through the trying to figure out fuel strategy and everything. Gavin, he was on that same pit strategy as I was. I'm not really sure what happened to him that last run, and so was Jonathan. But yeah, that was really helpful. Like, and it gives you confidence when you know somebody else is going to try it with you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Having those teammates, having friends around you, and being able to talk over all the different strategies and have the same game plans and run those through each other's minds out there and try to use everyone's calculator to make sure that your math is mathing and making sure that you don't, run yourself short on fuel strategies or anything else is always a bonus and a little bit of a stress reliever when it's not just yourself out there running by yourself and you make that error, in your calculations and all of a sudden, you're 2 laps or 5 laps shy of what you needed to be.
Yeah, that was I guess as soon as I came out of the pits, I knew I should have stayed out 2 laps longer. That long run, the tires just start getting eat up, and you're losing so much time. So I was trying to get in as soon as I could to where I thought that I could make it there at the end, and I was 2 laps short coming out of the pits. So I just had to save there for a little bit, and it all ended up working out.
Absolutely, brother. Well, a solid second place run here this afternoon at Homestead-Miami Speedway for you, Timothy. And hopefully we'll see you right back up here on the broadcast booth next week from Atlanta and maybe one spot better for you and up in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Beauty. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Timothy Watson as Mr. Watson comes home in position number 2 here this afternoon as we'll get ready to pull in our third place driver, the number 22 ride, Robert Tester. Tester coming home in that third position. Let's pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Robert, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Not much. Rob, man, what a run. What a drive for you here, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind as you're able to park this 22 up on the podium.
Oh man, I don't know. That last run there, I was worried about my strategy there because we were gonna gamble and pit as late as we can, just get a splash and see if we can stay out in front of the car, like the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we saw Gage, Timmy, Brian, they stayed out on that pit strategy there midway through the race, quite a few laps longer than everyone else, and all of a sudden they got into that area where they could make it on fuel to the end and didn't have to come back down pit road where everyone else that kind of pitted at the same time that Shu did and Jonathan Cogswell did and everything else had to all come back down pit lane, as he said, and maybe get that splash and go, use that strategy. There was only 6 cars left on the lead lap, and it works out perfectly for you as we go back to green flag racing. Everyone else back there behind you, even the wave around cars, there's multiple lap cars in between you guys, and just kind of settled in for, 5, 6 of you guys to battle amongst yourselves for the race win or solid performances here this afternoon.
Yeah, that was super fun. Good racing. I I just want to apologize to some of the racers. I might have, you know, clipped up coming off the turn with the rear end there. Kept getting loose off two, getting into the throttle.
Yeah, there was a lot of drivers, unfortunately, getting very loose out there on the racetrack this afternoon, man, especially late in this one. Everyone's slipping and sliding around, man. Take us kind of back through that. There was a lot of movement, a lot of contact, but a lot of 3 and 4 wide. So when you make that mistake or your car gets loose or tight in the middle of the corner and all of a sudden you find yourself surrounded by, 2 cars to your outside or a car to your inside, and you really got nowhere else to go, and unfortunately you make that contact with people.
Yeah, it happened a lot, like a lot more often than I wanted it to with myself and other drivers. But I think we're just pushing really hard and just racing.
Absolutely, just racing, and sometimes rubbing is racing out there, brother, as you park that 22 ride up on the podium here this afternoon at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Rob, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this afternoon?
Oh man, just mainly my teammates, Chris, Josh, and Tom. They were they got caught up in some misfortune early on, so they were just like feeding me info, telling me about when I should pit. Just give me a bunch of info, that really helped me out. Kept me from thinking about that and thinking about the track at the same time. So that helped out quite a bit, not having to think as much as on those two different things. So I could just focus on the track right in front of me.
Absolutely, keeping your eye on the prize out there on the Speedway, and it pays off as you park that 22 up on the podium here this afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you right back out there on the racetrack and right back up here in the broadcast booth next week from Atlanta. As Rob, congratulations on that third place run, and yeah, as I said, hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better and up in victory lane yourself.
Oh yeah, hopefully so. Old Atlanta, I'm pretty strong at it. Pretty strong at it. So hopefully, I can get some of the boys, the teammates up there. We can go ripping around, like some bald eagles.
Absolutely, brother. Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and congratulations again on the third place run.
I appreciate you, and thank you to everyone. Thanks for having us. Have a good night.
You too.
Like it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for Robert Tester, our third place finisher here this evening. Huge shout out there to Mr. Robert Tester, as man, that was a heck of a run, heck of a drive, heck of a performance here, man. The Juicy Spydr 200 put on one absolutely amazing show for us here this afternoon. These drivers put on a great show as well, as unfortunately, that will do it for us here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love throughout the afternoon. Everyone with the likes, the comments, the shares, I appreciate each and every single one of you. Any of the new followers or new subscribers, welcome to the PeaceMaker family. Welcome to the PeaceMaker crew. And I will see you guys all back in here tomorrow night, as we will be back to Green Flag Racing, more NASCAR racing. But tomorrow night, we're not only turning left, we'll be turning right, as we're going to be jumping in with the Grand Slam Series with the Octane Outlaws tomorrow night. So the Octane Outlaws back in action for some Friday night racing, and they're headed to Sonoma, I do believe. Sonoma? No, we're going to the Glen Sunday. No, we're going to the Glen tomorrow. I better double check that. I'm pretty sure we're going to Watkins Glen tomorrow night. So that's going to be very interesting. Going to Watkins Glen. Yeah, that is Watkins Glen. And I'm pretty sure Saturday with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, we go to another road course. I'm pretty sure we go to Sonoma on Saturday. So we've got a couple road course nights coming up here. So really keeping everybody on their toes. And then Sunday we go back to the Outcast Racing League. So lots of racing action over the next 3 days as well. So keep your eyes out. Keep your Keep everything ready to rock and roll here. Make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on PeaceMaker Gaming. That way you never miss out on the action here on the channel. But listen, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in and showing the love here this afternoon. And I will see you guys all tomorrow night. Peace out, babe. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.
In the digital world he shines bright, full send all day and all night, conquering realms with all his might. Peacemaker's here to make it right. Through the controllers battles begun, every click, every move he's won, streaming wisdom under the sun. Victory's anthem just has begun. Peacemaker gaming all day, send it full, don't sway. In the virtual lands we play, leading the charge in our own way. Pixels and wires, his domain, glory found in every campaign, shelter from reality strain. With Peacemaker there's no pain. Battles fought in every zone, from his cherries never alone, full send on the audio tone. Peacemaker's name is known. Eyes on screens, dreams he weave. In his world you can't believe. Through the levels never leave. The magic of gaming we perceive. Peacemaker, gaming all day, send it full, don't sway. In the virtual lands we play, leading the charge in our own way. Pixels and wires his domain, glory found in every campaign, shelter from reality strain. With Peacemaker there's no pain. Battles fought in every zone, from his cherries never alone, full send on the audio tone. Peacemaker's name is known. Eyes on screen, strings he weave. In his world you can't believe. Through the levels never leave. The magic of gaming we perceive. Battles fought in every zone, from his cherries never alone, full send on the audio tone. Peacemaker's name is known.